tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to continue our lecture series on Uttujja Rupas. Today's lesson is about the lineages of Uttujja Kalapas. So far we have discussed what is Uttu and what are the Uttujja Rupas in brief, and then what is a Uttujja Kalapa and how many Kalapas are there pertaining to the Uttujja category, and then we are going to study what are the Uttujja lineages of those Kalapas. In Pali we call this Uttujja Santati. They are the lineage of temperature-borne matter. Temperature-borne matter or material clusters is called an Uttujja material clusters is called an Uttujja Santati. It was mentioned above that Uttujja Kalapas arise due to Tejo Dhatu. Yes. When an Uttujja Kalapa is produced by a Tejo Dhatu, that newly arisen daughter Uttujja Kalapa becomes a mother with Kalapa, and its Tejo Dhatu produces another Uttujja Kalapa. In this way, Uttujja Kalapas exist in generations. So, say they happen to exist in generations, so the lineage continues. We have lineage of every type of material clusters, and we even discussed few years back. We discussed how lineage of Kamaja Kalapas exist and how lineage of Chittaja Kalapas should be counted, and also we had a explanation on that. So Uttujja Kalapas are the lineages of mental clusters that arise or that are initiated due to Tejo Dhatu. And this is not a very complex lesson, but it's very important to lay this fundamental, a foundation fundamental for our further studies. Now, Tejo Dhatu in a Uttujja Kalapa produces another Uttujja Kalapa. Which also has Tejo Dhatu, but now this Tejo Dhatu happens to exist for 17 mind moments. It happened to exist 17 mind moments, and it would pass away at this stage. But this new Uttujja Kalapa has arisen after one sub-mind moment according to the commentaries, but according to Mulatika it has arisen after one full mind moment. Anyway, so it would outlive this Kalapa. It would outlive this Kalapa because it will also live for another 17 mind moments. Rupa Kalapas produce the daughter Kalapas when they have come into the stage of persistence. That means the Titi Kala, not during their genesis, And then this Tejo Dhatu produces another Uttujja Kalapa, and that would last for another period of time. So in this way, when we are talking about Uttujja Santati, we have to talk about now the linear connection is there. This Uttujja Tejo of this Uttujja Kalapa is producing another. Tejo in this Kalapa is producing another. Then when we are talking about the lineages, we have to take the entire thing, because there can be Uttujja Kalapas of 51 ages, like in a span of 51 lifespans. Because this one, when this one is one sub-mind moment old or two sub-mind moments old, this will be one sub-mind moment old. So when it reaches the 51st sub-mind moment, this would be 50 sub-mind moments old. This would be 49 sub-mind moments old. So likewise, we have Uttujja Kalapas of various ages, various stages. So the entire thing, when we are talking about the Uttujja Santati, we have to take the entire thing as the lineage, not just one Kalapa. So entire thing. So even we can say this is the lineage, we can call it, and it's like, but they will be existing simultaneously at a certain time. But in terms of chittas, for instance, the following chitta, when a following chitta arises only after the previous chitta has passed away. So the mental lineage we find one at a time, and the successive continuer will follow. But in the material lineages, it's similar to how the human population grows, like lineage of humans. Because when the child is there, children are living, parents still live there. Still, we find children, parents, and grandchildren at the same time. So consciousness lineages are quite different. Only after the mother has died, the daughter arises. While the mother is present, the daughter cannot happen. So this is quite different from the human lineages. Rupas act similar to how the lineage of living beings exist. So there's a difference here. And when we take the 𝐾𝐿𝐽𝐽, for instance, if 𝐾𝐿𝐽𝐽 lineages, yes, 𝐾𝐿𝐽𝐽 are produced by a karma, and on the next mind moment, another 𝐾𝐿𝐽𝐽 will be produced. And then on another, in the next mind moment, sub-mind moment, another 𝐾𝐿𝐽𝐽𝐽 is produced. But so they are produced by some external, like external thing. I would say external means something out of the lineage is produced by karma. But then the entire thing is taken as the lineage, as in this case, we have to take the whole thing as the lineage. But the difference is in Utuja Kalapas, the daughter Kalapas are a direct production of the mother Kalapa. In the Kammaja Kalapas, we don't have mother-daughter Kalapas. They are produced by karma. They are produced by, independently produced by the karma. There is some sort of connection. The previous Kammaja Kalapas has a connection to this, the coming Kalapas. That's what the Jivitindriya does. Jivitindriya plays that role. But the production of Kammaja Kalapas is attributed to karma. It's attributed to karma actually. The same karma normally produces the all the rupas in one lineage. But in this lineage, it happens from inside. Tejo dhatu of the kalapas produce the the following kalapas. So that's a slightly different phenomenon. So the generation of Kammaja kalapas and Chittaja kalapas are also a bit similar, because Chittaja kalapas are produced by Chitta, which is outside those kalapas, and Chittaja kalapas are not a production of the previous kalapa. But when it comes to Utuja kalapas and Aharja kalapas, yes, they are productions within the lineage. So that's a important factor that we need to keep in mind. So this kalapa becomes a mother kalapa and it produces the daughter kalapa, and this becomes a mother kalapa and produces a daughter kalapa. So that eventually that would also becomes a mother kalapa and eventually produces a daughter kalapa. So likewise it continues, and mainly there are three types of Utuja kalapas. They have subdivisions as well. What are the three main ones? Anupadinnaka Utuja Santati, Upadinnaka Utuja Santati, then we have Utusamagame Utuja Santati. So these are the three main categories of Utuja Santati. Anupadinnaka. Then we have Upadinnaka. Then we have Utusamagame. Utuja Santati. Utusamagame Utuja Santati. These are the three main categories, but they have subdivisions. This doesn't have a subdivision, right? They have subdivisions. So it's very important. Even some have further divisions, right? So it's a bit of a complicated diagram, but anyway, we'll try to get the idea. Anupadinaka Uttuja Santati. Anupadinaka means inanimate. Inanimate, not living. Upadinaka animate. It's a rough translation I am giving. Utu Samagami Utu is when we are encountering certain weather conditions, what sort of rupas, the rupas that are arising due to that. When we go into a cold room or when we are exposed to the heat, when we are walking under the sun, yes, Uttuja rupas do arise in us, within us, and those Uttuja rupas are products of those weather conditions that strikes at our body. Anupadinaka Uttuja Santati. These are the Uttuja Kalapas, Kalapa lineages that are found in the inanimate world. Inanimate world. Anupadinaka. It could be the dead bodies or it could be, but dead bodies are Upadinaka changes into Anupadinaka. There's a transformation. But when you take the outer world, for example, the trees, because according to Buddhism, they are not living beings, they are not productions of the karma. Then the inanimate stuff, man-made stuff, artificial things. So all are, and also natural stuff such as rocks, earth, and so forth. They are all Anupadinaka stuff. But there's a very interesting point here. These Anupadinaka things, especially the trees and the meat of a dead animal and so forth, and when they come into our body, after we have consumed them, they turn into the Upadinaka stuff, because our hair, flesh, and everything is made out of these material stuff. So normally we say we are what we eat. So in the same way, so those Anupadinaka stuff changes into Upadinaka, and this Upadinaka stuff, when we die, becomes Anupadinaka. So there's a cycle is going on. So if we think like that, yes, then we have to, there is no such a continuance. If something was never consumed by a human, but for example, think about the matter in the earth. They are taken by some of the essences are taken by the trees, and we do eat trees. And when we eat trees, in the end, we have taken the essences from the earth, and they transform into our body parts. So it's very difficult to say which santatis do not turn into Upadinaka and which santatis do turn into Upadinaka. Anyway, the thing is, we are not talking about this entire process, the cycle of this food chain, but the things that are made, for example, when something is an inanimate thing, it's made out of Uttuja Kalapas, and those lineages are called Uttuja Santatis, and they are called Anupadinaka Uttuja Santatis. Anupadinaka Uttuja Santatis. These are the Uttuja Kalapa lineages that are found in the inanimate world. They are twofold. Anupadinaka Samanya Uttuja Santati, the normal ones. Anupadinaka Saddha Santati, according to the ancient commentarial explanation. Then Anupadinaka Samanya Uttuja Santati this is the lineage of material clusters born out of Tejo Dhatu and are found in inanimate objects, right, such as rocks, trees, and so forth, the great ocean, the earth. Under conducive environmental conditions, these lineages last for a long period. According to Theravada, lineages of Uttuja Kalapas out of which the great earth is formed last till the destruction of the great eon due to fire, water, or wind. Right? That's how the Theravadians would interpret. So these lineages last long. There is no specific lifespan. You cannot say that. Now, for instance, if you take the Uttuja lineages found in the Vehapala Brahma realm. Vehapala Brahma realm is the fifth jhana, any fifth jhana Brahma realm. Could be even the Suddhavasa. Because they have, according to the literature, they have a divine realm, a divine state. Oh, it's explained as a flat state in the literature. Anyway, so there is a divine state, divine realm over there. So this divine realm never gets destructed according to our literature. It never gets destructed in any of the world destructions. So it happens to be that technically it has been there forever. It had no beginning and it will never have an end. It will never have they will never have an end. So what does it mean? Are we promulgating a permanent heaven? Yeah, in the sense of, if you take the entire thing, it never gets destroyed. You can call it permanent in one sense, but the Rupa Kalapas within that, yeah, they arise and pass away. They arise and there's a continuous fluctuation in the existence. So in terms of ultimate realities, they are impermanent. And the most importantly, the beings who are born there are never permanent. Beings who are born there are never permanent. But if you are talking about a permanency in that sense, the universe is permanent according to Buddhism. It had no beginning, and it will not have any end, right? It doesn't have an end according to Theravada. So, and some scientists even would think that the possibility, even though the Big Bang theory is getting its popularity, some are thinking the universe could be infinite, and infinite in size and infinite in time as well. No beginning, infinite size. So according to Theravada, that's the point. It has no beginning, and it has no limited space. And there are counter arguments for that, the lights of stars and so forth. Anyway, that's something that is out of our topic. So if you take these now, even the material thing, the great earth is impermanent in a certain way. For example, we will be talking about this in another lecture related to this topic. Now, the great earth material clusters, the lineages exist, and they get destroyed at a certain place. Then those material clusters remain in a sort of a gaseous or some kind of a form for a certain period. Then they get formed into the earth again. So even though there's a destruction, obvious destruction, visible destruction within the lineage. Now, when we take this, the earth period, EARTH, earth, it had an origin, and it has an origin, it has an end. So we say earth is impermanent. But if you are talking about the Utuja lineages, no, it was not impermanent. It keeps on going, and it had no beginning as well. It has no beginning as well. When it comes to Abhasara Brahma realm, what happens is, we don't see this occasional change. The Abhasara Brahma realm exists like this. The earth, the Rupas in the earth, they are also in the same. If you talk about this lineage, it has been there. Same thing happens with the consciousness lineage. It has no beginning. It has been there forever from the past. If you talk about the past, it has no beginning. Yes, we would, according to samsara, we would say the consciousness would last forever. Only for certain beings, consciousness lineage would start forever. Only for certain beings, yes, we can stop that. We can stop that. So according to Theravada teachings, beings are in the middle of the samsara. So it has no beginning, it has no end. Only for the ones who remove the causes, there will be an end. That's a very special amount of a very significant little amount of beings. So now, therefore, the immaterial stuff now, these Upadinaka Utuja Santatis, they do last for a long period. But even we say the Utuja Santatis end at a certain stage related to the great earth, still the lineage continues in a different form, in a gaseous form. For example, if you burn wood, those matter would end up being ash, or would end up becoming gas, or then it would mix with the earth, and it would get mixed with the material of the outer world. The lineages do not stop. That's what happens to the food that we eat. According to Theravada, food we eat gets digested and turns into our body parts, and that would get mixed with the earth when we bury it, and it would add up to the amount of matter in the earth. And that's why the tradition says that the earth grows all the time. Earth grows, and one reason is the contribution of the human bodies into this land. Anyway, so the lineages undergo transformations, but the same lineage continues. So there is no beginning for the Uttuja lineages according to Theravada. There is no beginning for the Uttuja lineages according to Theravada. Sometimes that inanimate stuff when eaten become animate, and the animate stuff becomes inanimate after the person dies. So with these lineage, within these lineage, so the Uttuja lineage are something very special, and these lineages are not being discussed actually. The origin of this lineage, the lineages, the Uttuja Rupas has been discussed in Patthana, but its cause, the fact that Tejo Dhatu is producing Uttuja Rupas is not explained in the entire Patthana as well, right. So, these are the Uttuja Santatis found in inanimate bodies. Anupadinaka Saddha Santati, when inanimate bodies strike against each other, sound arises. These sounds, according to the ancient commentarial explanation, I shall be explaining this when it comes. I did explain this to some extent in the Sotappasada lessons few years back, but when we come to the sound Rupa, Saddha Rupa, I'll surely be explaining these opinions, that the various opinions about the kalapas with sound. So, according to ancient commentaries, sound kalapas do exist in generations and exist as a lineage. They exist as a lineage, and it does travel through the space. Just travel through the space. And but according to the Pali commentaries and most of the sub commentaries, the sound kalapas do not travel and do not exist in lineages. Whenever sound arises in a faraway place, we hear it while the sound is over there. But we know with our practical experiences, the sound takes time to be heard. It takes time. I don't think it can ever be heard from the place where it is if it is so far, if it is far away. So we have ancient commentarial explanation on this. We have Paramattha Dipani hybrid explanation, and then we have the Pali commentarial explanation. I shall analyze them later on. So according to the ancient commentaries and Paramattha Dipani, yes, sound kalapas do travel in the space. So they also exist in generations. So this lineage is not found in the Pali. This lineage of Uttuja Kalapas, are not found in the Pali commentaries, but they are found in ancient commentaries and also in Paramattha Dipani. These are the lineages of Uttuja Saddha Namaka Kalapas that arise due to the Uttuja Kalapas of inanimate bodies striking against each other. According to the opinion of the Maha Attakatha and Paramattha Dipani, these Uttuja Saddha Namaka Kalapas exist in generations. They even travel through the space. However, according to Pali commentaries, material clusters with sound do not travel through the space. They do not travel according to the Pali commentaries. Upadinaka Uttuja Santati. Now, these are the two types of Uttuja Santatis that are found in the inanimate world. Now, animate world, Upadinaka Uttuja Santati, that are found in our bodies. Lineage of Uttuja Rupa Kalapas that have started due to the Tejo Dhatu in animate bodies. Tejo Dhatu in an animate body gets the support from all the Kamaj Rupas in that body, because Kamaj Rupas are existing here and they do support all the Tejo Dhatu in the body, right? And especially it gets the support of Jivitindriya Rupa of that body. Yes, Jivitindriya is also supporting. Moreover, Oja Rupa in all the Kalapas in an animate body to support the Tejo Dhatu in that body. And then it also, in addition, it also gets the support from mentalities associated in that body. So in an animate body, there are Uttuja Kalapas, and these Uttuja Kalapas are supported by Kamaja Kalapas, and each Kamaja Kalapa has a Jivitindriya, and they get the support. They are strengthened by these Kammas, all the Kalapas. Then all the Kalapas, including the Uttuja Kalapas, have Oja Rupa in them. Oja Rupa. So this Oja Rupa, Ahara Rupa, Oja Rupa supports the remaining Kalapas remaining Rupas of the same Kalapa and also all the Rupas in the other Kalapa. Other than it itself, Oja, any reality cannot support itself, Oja cannot strengthen itself. It can strengthen the remaining associating Kalapa, Rupas, and also the Rupas in other Kalapas. It can support like that. So, Oja in all the Kalapas affect this stage, this tejo. Then Kamaja Kalapas also affect this tejo. Then the Chitta which is associating this body also affect these Rupas. Tejo Dhatu also. It includes Tejo Dhatu as well. Then there's, which I have not written, which is it's a different topic. The Kamma also has some kind of effect here. Kamma also has some kind of effect. And also we get the effect from the outer environment. Yes, obviously. We get the environment, outer environment. Then we can also include all the powers. Now, for example, blessings given by someone. So what it is? The power of Satchakiriya, for example, the truthful utterances, determinations made by someone. Your own determination, others' determination, they do affect. So there can be lots of forces going on. And according to astrology, the rays or the things coming from the stars can also affect us. So in the same way, in that way, there can be various causes affecting the Tejo Dhatu in a living body. And this Tejo Dhatu in a living body, in a Utuja Kalapa, they produces, sorry, not in Utuja Kalapa, I beg your pardon. So this, this not in Utuja Kalapas, which was any Tejo Dhatu in any Kalapa. So Tejo Dhatu is found in Utuja Rupas, Tejo Dhatu is found in Kamaja Rupas also have Tejo Dhatu, right? They also get the support of the Jivitendriya, other Kamaja Rupas. So it's a mix actually. So Tejo Dhatu in the entire body, in any Kalapa, gets the support of Karma, gets the support of Jivitendriya, Kamaja Rupas. Tejo Dhatu in the entire body gets the support of Kamaja Rupas, gets the support of Jivitendriya, gets the support of Oja Rupa, gets the support of Chitta, gets the support of Karma, sometimes blessing, sometimes obviously the support of outer environment. So with all these conditions, this Tejo Dhatu in any Kalapa of the body produces a Utuja Kalapa. If a Kalapa is produced by a Tejo Dhatu, then it has to be a Utuja Kalapa. That's the basic fundamental. So, and then what happens, Tejo Dhatu of this Utuja Kalapa would produce another Utuja Kalapa. But this initial Kalapa, out of which the lineage started, may vary. It can be a Kamaja Kalapa, it can be a Chittaja Kalapa, it can be a Utuja Kalapa, it can be an Aharja Kalapa. That's the point here. So the initial, now the lineage has started from the Tejo Dhatu, but in which Kalapa that initial Tejo Dhatu was in, that matters. So based now, so this is a Utuja Kalapa, Utuja Santati. And this Utuja Santati is found in the human body, so it's Upadinaka. Upadinaka Utuja Santati. So who initiated this process? From whom this started? It could be a Kamaja Kalapa. It's a Tejo Dhatu is responsible for the production. But this Tejo Dhatu could be found in a Kamaja Kalapa, could be found in a Chittaja Kalapa, could be found in Aharja Kalapa, or it could be in a Utuja Kalapa as well. So therefore, these Upadinaka Utuja Santatis become fourfold based on the nature of the Kalapa of the initial Tejo which produced those lineages. Initial Tejo, the Kalapa of the initial Tejo. Right, so that's the point here. Utuja Santatis of an animate body is fourfold based on the type of mother Kalapa out of which they originally started. Upadinaka, Utupacche, Utusamuttana Santati. These are the lineages of material clusters that have initiated from the Tejo Dhatu in Utuja Kalapas of a human body. So this is the first one, Utupacche, like it started, the lineage started from a Tejo Dhatu in a Utuja Kalapa. The co-essence of the animate body is made out of kalapas of such lineages. Co-essence is made out of such Uttuja kalapas. They are the most abundant in living beings like humans and animals. There are 4 sources of these lineages of a 𝗙𝐵𝐴𝐴𝐵 being. Anyone who is born in the womb get 4 sources how these kalapas origin. Their lineages are not mentioned in the Visuddhimagga as well. So the body of the mother, the body of the mother, from the body of the father, food consumed by the mother while the being is in the mother's womb, and food consumed by the being after getting out of the womb. So there are 4 ways we get these the Uttuja material lineages into our body from our parents, mother and father, and the food that the mother ate while we were in the womb, and then the food that we eat after coming out of the womb. These Uttuja Santatis can be maintained for a longer period by consuming nutritious food and living under conducive weather conditions. Lineages of Rupas found in a dead body is the continuation of these same lineages. So these same lineages which are Upadinaka continue to exist even after the person has died to some level. They transform into a different lineage, a different form actually. Uttuja will remain as it is, but they will transform into a different lineage. After the being has died, these lineages are considered anupadinaka. That's the point here. So after the being has died, so these lineages, which were initially called upadinaka Uttuja Santatis, become anupadinaka Uttuja Santatis. Then we move on to the next one, Kammappacchaya Uttusamuttana Santati. These are the lineages of Rūpa Kalapas originated out of Tejo Dhatu in Kammaja Kalapas in animate bodies. If the lineages occurred from a Tejo Dhatu of a Kammaja Kalapa, this lineage is called Kammappacchaya Uttusamuttana Santati. Kammappacchaya Uttusamuttana Santati. Tejo Dhatu in a Kammaja Kalapa that has come to the Titi stage produces, always Rūpa produces when it has come to the Titi stage, produces an Uttuja Oja Attamaka Kalapa or Uttuja Lahutadi Ekadasaka Kalapa. There can be 2 types of Rūpas, Kalapas. That newly arisen daughter Kalapa becomes a mother Kalapa and its Tejo Dhatu produces one of the mentioned 2 Uttuja Kalapas. Tejo Dhatu of that second generation Uttuja Kalapas produces another Uttuja Kalapa. So this produces this and this becomes a mother Kalapa and produces another daughter Kalapa, right? Of that second generation Uttuja Kalapa produces another Uttuja Kalapa. In this manner, the Kammappacchaya Uttusamuttana Santatis lasts for 4 or 5 generations. So it can last for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maximally 5 generations, right? Then it stops, right? Stops. Then Chittappacchaya Uttusamuttana Santati. So if the Tejo Dhatu produced the Uttuja Kalapas, if the Tejo Dhatu was found in a Chittaja Kalapa, it was found in a Chitta, because any Tejo Dhatu in the entire body can produce Uttuja Kalapa. That's the point here. They can produce Uttuja Kalapa. So if the Tejo Dhatu was initially found in a Chittaja Kalapa, that Tejo Dhatu could produce Rupas, and those Rupas can produce new Rupas as well. These are the lineages of Rūpa Kalapas originated out of Tejo Dhatu in Chittaja Kalapas of an animate body. This is twofold. What are they? Samanya Chittappacchaya Uttusamuttana Santati, the ordinary ones, and Chittappacchaya Uttusamuttana Saddha Santati. Because the words that we utter, they are produced by the consciousness according to Theravada, but they do travel in the space according to the ancient commentaries and Paramattha Dipani. In such case, they originated from the consciousness. Uttuja, Chittaja, the sound was produced by the consciousness, but they produce Kalapas with sound. The Chittaja Kalapas produce Kalapas with sound. So newly produced ones. For instance, now this is the Tejo Dhatu and this is Chittaja Kalapa. Chittaja Kalapa produced by the consciousness. And this happens to have sound, for example, sound here. And this Tejo Dhatu will produces Uttuja Rūpa, with Tejo Dhatu and sound. But this one is a Chittaja one, originally produced by Chitta. This one is produced by Tejo Dhatu. So likewise, this lineage may exist with sound. The other lineages are Chitta Paccaya Utu Samuttana are now sometimes Chitta is producing Chittaja Rupas with Tejo Dhatu. This is Chittaja. And Tejo Dhatu of this Rupa would produce another Rupa Kalapa with Tejo Dhatu, because every Kalapa has Tejo Dhatu, right? So this is a Utuja Kalapa. This is Utuja. And this would produce and the Kalapa with Tejo, which is Utuja. Right, with its Utuja. Maximally, this lineage would last for 2 or 3 lineages. But this was initially started by the Utuja Kalapa. So this is called Chitta Paccaya Utu Samuttana. The same thing applies with the sound. Only thing is those Kalapas contain sound in addition to the other Rupas. So these are called Chitta Paccaya Utu Samuttana Saddha Santati. These are Samanya, ordinary Chitta Paccaya Utu Samuttana. These are the 2 different lineages. Tejo Dhatu in a Chittaja Kalapa has come to the stage of the Titi stage, produces an Utuja Oja Attama Kalapa, Utuja Lahutadi Ekadasaka Kalapa. That newly arisen daughter Kalapa becomes a mother Kalapa, and its Tejo Dhatu produces one of the mentioned 2 Utuja Kalapas. In this manner, the Chitta Paccaya Utu Samuttana Santati lasts for 2 or 3 generations. According to Theravada, now what happens is there can be, the Visuddhimagga says this may last for 2 or 3 generations. 2 or 3 generations. But the Visuddhimagga, one can count that 2 or 3 in this way, but I feel like it should be taken from here. Anyway, according to Theravada, sometimes there are instances in which, as if you follow the Theravada doctrine, it seems there can be lineages that run more than this, because asasa passasa, the breathing, is a production of mind according to Theravada, but we talked about that in detail, whether this could be, whether this is practical or not, taking like that. So anyway, if we take the breathing as a air that is inhale and exhale, or asasa passasa is a Chitta Paccaya. What happens when it, the most important thing is, any Rupa even within the body, if as soon as it goes out of the body, becomes an Anupadinaka stuff. It becomes Anupadinaka. Only Utuja Rupas exist. So the Asasa Passasa, which is a Chittaja one, when it goes out of the body, it becomes Utuja. So the Chittaja Kalapas turn into Utuja Kalapas. The same thing happens with saliva. Sometimes saliva can be produced as a Chittaja Kalapas according to Theravada. But when you spit it out, it is only Utuja Kalapas. So Chitta Paccaya Kalapas turn into Utuja Kalapas. Chittaja Kalapas turn into Utuja Kalapas. So only this mechanism can be shown. Then same thing happens with sperm. When the lust comes and the semen is coming out, when it enters into the penis, from that moment, the commentary says the Utuja Kalapas turn into Chittaja Kalapas turn into Utuja Kalapas. Right. So a note is given according to Theravada, Asasa Passasa, that is made out of only Chittaja Rupas. Saliva, mucus, tears, and sweat that sometimes arise as Chittaja Rupa, sometimes, not always. And the semen that flows into the penis as Chittaja Rupas turn into Utuja Rupas after they have left the human body. So semen is a Utuja thing. It's not only Chittaja, it's a Utuja, but it comes out as a Chittaja. It's mentioned in the commentaries. Within the tradition, those Rupas are termed as Chitta Paccaya Utu Samuttana after they have gone out of the body. But for the semen, when it enters in the penis, it becomes Utuja Kalapas. It is obvious that they last more than 2 or 3 generations in the outer environment. When they go out, obviously they last for a long time. It's not just 2 or 3 generations. So therefore, it should be noted within Theravada, there are Chitta Paccaya Utu Samuttana lineages that last more than 2 or 3 generations. So this is the, it seems like this generation is for the Chitta Paccha Uttasamuttanas that are within the body. They are a weak generation, weak lineage, but they do last more than that according to the explanation. The same thing happens, I couldn't insert it actually, the same thing happens with the light that emits from the body due to Vipassana Jnanas. So they initiate as a Chitta Pacchaya light, and when you go out, they last as Utuja Rupas. So Chitta Pacchaya Utuja Rupas. The same thing applies. So this Chitta Pacchaya Utuja Kalapas plays some role, like it's mentioned in few places in the Theravada literature. Chitta Pacchaya Uttasamuttana Saddha Santati, lineages of sound Kalapas as mentioned in the ancient Abhidhamma commentary and Paramatta Dipani could travel long distance. That the sound can travel for a long distance, so a lineage would continue. When a sound uttered by a living being travels for a considerable distance, those lineages have to last for more than 2 or 3 generations. That's obvious. Therefore, it is justifiable to name a separate Utuja Kalapa lineage as Chitta Pacchaya Uttasamuttana Saddha Santati. However, according to Pali Abhidhamma commentary and other sub commentaries, there is no such Utuja Santati of Rupas with sound. Okay, there is no Santati in there. Then Ahara Pacchaya Uttasamuttana Santati. Yes, we can go to the previous page. Aharaja. If the initial Tejo was in Aharaja Kalapa, then that's called Ahara Pacchaya Uttasamuttana Santati. These are the lineages of Rupa Kalapas originated out of Tejo Dhatu in Aharaja Kalapas in animate bodies. Tejo Dhatu in Aharaja Kalapa that has come to the Titi stage produces an Utuja Oja Attamaka Kalapa or Utuja Lahutadi Ekadasa Kalapa. That newly arisen daughter Kalapa becomes a mother Kalapa, and its Tejo Dhatu produces one of the mentioned 2 Utuja Kalapas. Tejo Dhatu of that second generation Utuja Kalapa produces another Utuja Kalapa. In this manner, the Ahara Pacchaya Uttasamuttana Santati lasts for 10 or 12 generations. This could last for 10 if this Aharaja comes. For example, Tejo Dhatu in Aharaja Kalapa, Tejo produces Utuja Kalapas, which is produced by Tejo, and it contains Tejo again, and this Tejo will produce another Kalapa with Tejo, and this would last like this for till for 10 or 12 generations. 10 or 12 generations. Right? 10 to 12 generations. So that's the next point. Then Ahara Pacchaya Uttasamuttana, sorry. Then Uttusamaagame Utuja Santati. Uttusamagame Utuja Santati. There's a slight clash here in this regard. I may talk about that. That how these Aharaja Santatis are, Aharaja Rupas are coming. So because Aharaja Rupa is a production of Ahara in a Tejo Dhatu. So when it comes to the Aharaja Santatis, in the end I will take all the Santatis in one place and discuss. So at that place you will see there is something very difficult to explain regarding this Santati. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Uttusamagame Utuja Santati. These are the lineages of Rupa Kalapas arising within animate and inanimate bodies, originated from the Tejo Dhatu in the outer environment. So when we are encountering Tejo Dhatu from the outer environment, they strike against our body, and then some Utuja Rupas are arising within us. As mentioned in the commentary of Dhamma Sangani, when Tejo Dhatu of the outer environment strikes against material bodies, new Rupa Kalapas arise within those bodies due to the striking of Tejo Dhatu. When the Tejo Dhatu is striking against our body, new Rupa Kalapas are arising within our body. It's obviously seen, felt. Scientifically, it's a different explanation, but I'm talking in terms of Abhidhamma, Theravada teachings. So when we go into a air-conditioned room, or when we get exposed to the fire or a heat, yes, Tejo Utuja Kalapas with similar to what we got exposed arise in our body. These newly arisen Utuja Karupa Kalapas are called Uttusamuttana. Uttusamuttana. Now, this is our body. So when the Tejo Dhatu is striking, they also are within Rupa Kalapas. new Rupas arise within our body. They also have Tejo Dhatu. They are called Utu. They are called Utu Samuttahana. And then this Tejo Dhatu produces another Tejo Dhatu. That Rupa Kalapa is called Utupachaya. And then this produces another Tejo Kalapa that is called Utupachaya Utusamuttana. Utupachaya Utusamuttana. Utupachaya Utusamuttana. This lineage doesn't go for the fourth generation, as it is mentioned. This is called Utusamuttana, Utupachaya, Utusamuttana. So the new lineages that have arisen due to the outer environment striking against our body, the Kalapa striking against our body, has this kind of a lineage. This is especially found in Dhamma commentary. These newly arisen Utuja Rupas are called Utusamuttana. Tejo Dhatu in Utusamuttana Kalapas produce new Utuja Kalapas. Those second generation Utuja Kalapas are called Utupachaya. Then Tejo Dhatu in those Utupachaya Kalapas generate new Utuja Kalapas, and they are called Utupachaya Utusamuttana. This lineage does not continue to the fourth generation, right? And there are some other ways that you can explain them as well. So this is the explanation. So we had to take away message is Utuja Rupas exist in lineages. They can be found in the inanimate world. Then we have two types of lineages, the ordinary one and the sound Kalapas. Then when it comes to the human living body, we Upadinaka Utuja Santatis, the how did it origin, like where the Tejo was, the origin Tejo of the lineage. Was it in a Kammaja, Chittaja, Utuja, Aharaja, Kalapa matters. So according to that, Upadinaka Utuja Santati. Utuja Santati is in living bodies are fourfold based on the initial mother Kalapa, nature of the initial mother Kalapa. Then this among them, Chitta Pachaya Utusamuttana, twofold, ordinary and then with sound, ordinary and with sound. Then we move into Utusamagama Utuja Santati, that is to say, the Rupa Kalapas that are arising in us due to the Tejo of the outer environment striking against our bodies. So likewise, the Utuja Kalapas exist in generations. Some generations do last for a long period, and some lineages last for a longer period. Some lineages last for a shorter period. And we'll be getting, after studying all the lineages, I'll be talking about them in one lesson as well. So I'll just conclude the lecture, giving the opportunity for you to ask the questions.
I have two questions. The first question is, you compare the Kammaja Kalapa with Utuja Kalapa, and Utuja Kalapa has lineages that I understood, and Kammaja Kalapa doesn't have lineages. So in that I have a little problem. So I'm sure you will be able to help me to understand that. Now, if you take eye or ear or tongue or any other, those four organs, leaving the body out, maybe after the birth, the number of kalapas that are on the body is not increasing, but may be remaining constant. So that is understandable. But when you take the skin, that grows with the person. A child, when he grows, the area where the skin is present increases, and with that, obviously, the higher kalapas also, kalapas also have to increase. So if I take it like that, so there again maybe new Kammaja kalapas may be produced by Kamma is one explanation. That is quite possible. When the Utuja kalapas contributing to the growth of the body, Kammaja kalapas also increases without which actually the body cannot function. So that is my first question. The second question is, when you are talking So you say that Tejo Kalapas in the mother, Tejo Dhatu in the mother's Kalapas, and will come to the daughter's Kalapas. That's why you call it lineage. So then again, there is a little issue. So actually, Uppara Dikibanga, does it apply only to the Kalapa, or does it apply to the Tejo Dhatu which is inside the Kalapa? Is my question, because if it's so, then it can't be coming into a daughter. But if you take it some other way, maybe there is some contribution. So that's a bigger problem. I think I may have to just leave it out sometimes, because trying to think it too much probably make me mad.
No, I don't understand the second question, because when it is existing, it's producing. What's the problem here?
No, now to produce the daughter, Kalapa, from where is the Tejo Dhatu coming?
It's in the Kalapa, in the mother Kalapa.
Yeah, so that's the problem.
But
you say that,
yes,
life of the Tejo Dhatu gets extended.
no, why? Because it has 17 mind moments. In the second sub-mind moment, because of Tejo Dhatu, new Kalapa arises. Now this Kalapa has Tejo Dhatu in it. So when it comes to the second mind moment, sub-mind moment, a new Kalapa arises due to this Tejo, and it also contains Tejo inside. So what's the problem?
So the Tejo contained in the daughter Kalapa should last another 70 minutes.
Yeah, this is a new Tejo. What's the issue?
That is fine. That is fine. But it's not coming from the mother.
No, it is a basic fundamental. Nothing moves from one Kalapa to another Kalapa.
Yes.
It's a new Kalapa rising from the previous Kalapa.
Right. So all these Patavi, Apu, Tejo, all that always the occurrence is fresh.
Yeah, fresh.
So if you take it that way, I think that's one explanation.
That's how it is explained in Theravada. That's very clear. Nothing comes from the previous Kalapa to this Kalapa. Nothing comes. Only new Kalapas new Rupas are arising due to the previous Kalapa.
Okay, so this is what really confuses me when I start looking at mother Kalapa and daughter Kalapa.
Right.
So I think if you take it that way, that is perfect. So thank you very much for that. But my first question is for.
Yes, it's because I never said there is no Kammaja Santatis. There is a Kammaja Santati. The difference between the Kammaja Santati and the Uttuja Santati is Kammaja Santati is produced by a different cause out of the Kalapas. Uttuja Santatis are produced by a cause within the Kalapas. So Kammaja Santatis are just one. Like for example, if you take the bodily Kaya Pasada, it doesn't have many Santatis. The Santati in the hand, Santati in the leg, no. It's just a one Santati. So one Santati produced by a one karma. So when the body expands, the number of Kalapas increase. That is not an increasing of the Santatis. The same Santati remains as a one Santati. The number of, even though the number of Kalapas increase, that doesn't mean that the new Santatis are arising. It's the same Santati in the, for example, even this happens, our tongue grows, eye grows, ear grows, so the surfaces are increasing. So number of Kalapas do increase, Kammaja Kalapas do increase, but they remain as the same lineage because they are produced by the same karma. So in the beginning, there's a very limited amount of Kammaja Rupas. For example, if you take Kaya Pasada Kalapas, they are produced by one karma. For example, if you take only 1,000 Kalapas were produced at the moment of birth, 1,000 maybe. And then after 1 month, they happen to produce 100,000, then 1 million, 1 billion, whatever it is. So a huge number is produced, but still the lineage remains the same. So it's like lineage the number, it's while lineage is going like this, the number may increase. It doesn't matter. The same lineage continues. The only thing is, this lineage is not happening within the lineage, it's happening due to some cause outside the lineage.
Yeah. So that's a good enough explanation, and that is perfect, no problem. I have two sub-questions coming from that. One is actually the Vastu. Even that one, is it increasing like that with the growth of the person?
That I am unable to say. That I am unable to say because it's not spread upon anything. Kaya pasada is spread up. Chakku pasada is spread on the surface of the sky. Eye. Sota pasada is spread on the surface of the sky. Eye. Jivha, Ghana, Kaya are spreading on a surface of the body. But Hadevattu, Vattu Rūpa, it's not spread upon the heart. Yes, heart grows, that's for sure, but it's not spreading upon the heart. It's said to be something associating the blood. So maybe the number increases, may not. That I'm unable to give exact answer because nothing is mentioned about that. And I cannot see any reason to come into a conclusion that it would increase.
Why I asked that was due to another reason also, because modern scientific findings somewhere I read that the number of neurons that you get on the heart is almost the same as what you get on the brain. So, but then with the growth of the body, number of neurons probably could increase both parts, in the brain as well as on the heart. So that's the reason why I asked that question. But then another question, actually this is arising from animate and inanimate bodies. Now when you take trees or plants, they grow into the 𝐸𝐴 because there's no 𝐸𝐴 or 𝐸𝐴. So it grows due to 𝐸𝐴. So could you kindly explain me a little how do we put that into the exploration we make today?
It's a very strange mechanism, very similar to the human bodies. We have to understand it grows like a human body due to the things because normally the man-made stuff doesn't grow like that. It says when they teach biology, they say some stuffs such as diamonds or some rocks, they say they grow, but it's an addition from something. I don't know how it grows actually. I don't know how it grows. So they say some scientists say certain rocks do grow, but the process of trees, because they blossom, they give fruit like humans do. So the mechanism is very similar to the human body, and it is happening without the influence of karma. So it's a very special case. That's why in ancient times people start to believe trees have one indriya, one faculty, which was the kaya faculty, kaya indriya. So that's why Buddha even prohibited destroying the trees for once. And so yeah, its growth is something very special, very unique. I don't know. I don't think we can explain that. We normally doesn't explain in that manner, in that tradition. So what we can say is it's similar to the 𝐸𝐴 Rūpa functioning in the human body, but the 𝐸𝐴 Rūpas in the human body are supported by karma, supported by the consciousness, supported by oja and so forth. But in the trees is only 𝐸𝐴 Rūpas. Only Tejo Dhatu is functioning. Tojo Dhatu is doing the function. Even the 𝐸𝐴 Rūpa is not supporting, not arising, and even oja is not supporting in trees. One may start to feel that yes, it seems like 𝐸𝐴 Rūpas are arising in the trees, but according to Theravada, no. For the 𝐸𝐴 Rūpas to happen, there has to be 𝐾𝐽𝐽 Rūpas. That's a fundamental. And so I'm unable to give an explanation on that, but see, what we can say is it's a sort of a very mysterious functioning like the animal body.
Anyway, thank you very much. So your explanation is very, very useful and very illuminating. And I think we have all agreed that the local here is actually there. So finally we have come to that because I don't think we can understand the entire world which is happening
Right.
even through Dhamma without have that much of it. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that's all right. No one is asking. Okay, we shall conclude our lecture, and yeah, thank you for listening. And next week we are going to talk next week would be the last week for this semester, and I'm planning to do some rupas related to the bodies of animated and inanimate things. So wish you all the best. Buddha Sasanang Chirantittato, Buddha Sasanang Chirantittato, Buddha Sasanang Chirantittato, sadhu sadhu.